This is Karita Parks with Bowie TV at the Under Armour Performance Center, where the Ravens return to training camp after having a much-needed day off. And that was good for them, especially since today was the first day with pads. And you could automatically feel the competition and the intensity increase. We saw a bit of a scuffle between Trenton Simpson and Justice Hill, which was quickly broken up, but it just shows how the mentality shifts once those pads come on. In other news, Lamar Jackson, he is still out with an illness and he is being further evaluated by the medical staff just so they can do their due diligence. Lamar Jackson is the key to this offense, so there's no need to rush him back until he's feeling 100% better because, quite frankly, he has a whole season ahead of him and they need him to be 110% moving forward. So we'll keep you posted on when he returns to practice. But in the meantime, Josh Johnson continues to take first team reps, and the defense, they came back after the break, picking up exactly where they left off. There were some more interceptions. This secondary has been lights out. Today it was Darryl Worley with a pick six. Also, Bump Cooper Jr. got in on the action, and Sandusi Kane, he had his first interception as well. But some bright spots offensively. Nelson Aguilar had a long reception down the sideline that almost went in for a touchdown, but he was stopped short. And then at the end of practice, Coach Harbaugh set it up to give the offense about 4 opportunities to score, but they didn't need that because they were able to score right out the gate with Devontae Walker catching a pass in the corner of the end zone with Nate Wiggins in coverage. And that is the way the offense ended. So that was a strong way for them to finish off the day and hopefully come in tomorrow with that momentum. The only absence of note today from practice was Kyle Van Noy. Coach Harbaugh said that he is dealing with some neck issues. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. We will be back for training camp practice tomorrow, so be sure to tune in to Bowie TV Sports for all your Ravens content. We're also on social media at Bowie TV Sports.
First day that Coach Jack Harbaugh was here. So it's good to see Coach Jack here. He broke the huddle at the end with a who's got it better than us? Nobody. And really nobody does. You get out here on a day like this with a football team that you love, with the fans going crazy, cheering for the team they love, a beautiful day with the pads on. I mean, that's what football is. This is the start of football. So we've done all the stuff we need to do to prepare us for today. You get out here today and you start evaluating the football team. So it was exciting, it was fun, guys did a nice job. Can't wait to look at the tape and get back again tomorrow. What questions do you have?
John, Lamar is sick again. Anything you can shed any light on what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, he's fighting through an illness, working with our doctors, doing all the tests, even more tests to make sure we got everything covered. And I'm confident he'll be back pretty soon. So it's just an unpredictable deal. I mean, you guys have been sick before. Sometimes it's not easy. So that's what we're dealing with.
Coach, you like the physicality of the practice with the pads on?
I did like the physicality of it. I thought it was good. And the lines both look good. You know, what you don't want to do is see guys get crazy with their technique when they come out and put the pads on. And I felt like we didn't. They stayed square. They stayed in control. They had their feet underneath themselves. They played good, solid football. We didn't have a bunch of mistakes. A little bit, there were some, but not too many mental errors, not too much jumping off sides, things like that with the pads on the first day.
John, with respect to obviously it's hard, but we did see him out there the other day for an hour and then went back in. Did he start feeling kind of really down? Or was seeing it just wasn't good for him to be out there this afternoon?
Yeah, that's what I think. That between Lamar and the doctors figuring that out, I just wasn't feeling up to it in terms of all the different things. I mean, you got hydration, there's an energy level thing. It's part of being sick, really.
John, did you feel an extra buzz from the guys from today being the first day with pads on?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. They were talking to each other a little bit in the meetings and different things like that this week, so everybody was pointing toward today. They were excited about it.
John, with Lamar being out, that's obviously led to Josh Johnson getting extensive starter reps. How do you think he's handled that, just running the offense? And you guys have already expressed confidence in him as a number 2 this year.
Yeah, he's done a real good job. I mean, I think he's got a great grasp of the offense. He handles it well. He operates it well. He makes all his decisions. He's throwing the ball well, playing good football. That's why he's here. And you think about the big picture in the long run. There's a real benefit of that. Him getting a lot of reps.
Because Tez Walker had a touchdown catch in the end zone. Is he a guy you see stacking practices? This will be part of the
Say again, please.
Tez Walker caught a touchdown red zone. Is he a guy you see stacking practices?
I do. I mean, Tez is doing a great job stacking practices. I really had a plan there. I mean, we're going to go 3 plays. We were going to, go tackling with the young guys, start the camp off, and Todd calls the fade, and boop, put it up there, and Tez makes the play, and period's over. So that can happen.
John, we're seeing less and less full live, practices with the pads on it. How do you go about kind of not having a genuine concern about the tackling at the start of the season?
Yeah, really, honestly, in the last, I'm going to say a long number of years, there hasn't been a lot of tackling in camp. Even back when I started in '98, there was very little tackling to the ground. There were more padded practices for sure, but it was still mostly front up, though you did have a couple scrimmages and you had more preseason games. So it's more of an emphasis on teaching tackling with the bags, front up tackling, technique tackling, being in position to make tackles. But the real tackling practice probably does come for the most part in the games.
John, you mentioned about Tez Walker. What have you seen out of Tez so far? I know it's early in camp, but what have you seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's a rookie. He's learning. He makes mistakes and then he corrects them. It's a process for all the rookies. I think he's doing a really good job. I see talent, and the speed, and he can change direction, he catches the ball, all the things that are there. And let's just see how fast he comes along.
John, I know it's practice 1 of the padded practices, but what did you see out of the offensive line in this game? Obviously, the defense is going to have an advantage at this point, but in terms of combinations and so forth, I mean, is it still pretty early for you guys in this process in terms of, we've seen Voorhees obviously left guard off, but otherwise, is it still too early on the season?
It really is a little too early to make any kind of statement. I thought as a group they looked good today. They played square. They were physical and stout. But today's when you really start getting more of a better feel. Until the pads come on, you can't make any determinations about offensive line play. We have, a number of days here in pads coming up, and it should be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, I hope it's tough in the sense that they're all doing great. But the main thing is that we get enough guys doing great that we can build a line around.
You said during minicamp that you'd like to have a pretty clear idea of the offensive line maybe going into the first preseason game. Is that still kind of the timeline that you have in mind?
I'd love for that to be the case. We would love for that to be the case. Is that unrealistic? I don't know, maybe, but that's the best case scenario. I don't necessarily expect it to be the case. The game is a big deal. So if you go into that first week with a good idea and the game confirms everything, then you feel great, you're in a good spot. If you don't, then you're okay. You just keep working the guys in as you go, and one guy establishes himself, and the next guy, then the next guy, then you have a line and you have your depth chart.
For the offensive line, what are some of those things that you can evaluate a little differently now that the pads are on?
Well, the main thing is like in the pass protection, bull rushes, twist games, the penetration aspect of it's a big part of it. Then the run game, the fits, are we getting movement, are they tight fits, are we giving up penetration? Without pads, you really can't tell.
John, has been a way back there.
No, Vinoy had a little issue, a little neck thing. Just deal with nothing serious. We just held him out for that.
All right.
All set?
Check this out. Everyone doing well?
I know you're looking. You want to look at that film from today.
Oh yeah,
but,
we'll be okay though. I saw some good things out there, so that's good news.
Yeah, I mean, so far, what kind of your impressions of a padded practice, especially offensive?
You know what? So, as you well know, we have to graduate to pads, which we did. And today was the first day in pads. And you heard pads popping, and that's football, right? And that's what it's supposed to be. So I saw the linemen do a very nice job. I saw a lot of good. I told them all. I saw a lot of good blocks by all of you. But I saw some blocks we got to get better with, and that's my job to help them get better, and we'll do that. Okay? So that's the good news. But you saw hustle, you saw effort, you saw finish, and that's part of being a good football team.
Joe, what specifically would you like to see more out of, specifically from guys who are competing for those open spots?
Well, I think it's going to all take care of itself. Each day, as we always evaluate, we evaluate them, they evaluate themselves, and we just want to see how often that person can succeed. And is he succeeding more than the other guy against equal competition? And that usually takes care of itself.
Can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing from Daniel Farwell in terms of both footwork, which I know you're really big on, and hands?
You know what? His footwork is not bad. He's learning a new position, playing inside. Everything happens faster. The movement happens faster. Decisions happen faster. Communication happens faster. And he's growing in that area. And we got to just continue using his hands better to relocate, either place your hands on him, relocate the hands, etc. But first day, let's see what he does in about a week, see if it gets better.
So the defense really flying around. How beneficial is that for your offensive linemen so we can get those blitzes?
It's great. The more they give us, I'm happy. I like it. And that it tests me too as a coach, where I have to try to come up and problem solve fast to help them and give them a solution. And they have to adhere to what they see and then communicate and be able to get their bodies in position to block. Because today it happened one time, I saw two, looked like a jailbreak. I saw two coming free. Well, that was all movement. And now adjusting the movement. Helmet adjusting the movement.
What do you see from Andrew Voorhees?
Andrew's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. He's learning the left guard position. He's playing as teaching him how to play center. And I'm very pleased with what I see with him right now. He's competing very well out there.
Joe, you talked about Fowler. What makes you think he might be a really good fit at guard?
Well, 6'8", 6'9". He's 300, and I'm going to give him the low end. I'm going to give him 380. Okay? And he can move his feet. He's athletic. He's flexible. And he's intelligent. So let's see what happens. If he can, that's going to be a feather in our cap. We'll see how that goes. But it's a work in progress. And all of them are, right? It's development of players until they build some experience and confidence, and that's what's going to come with me too.
So how do you assess kind of the competition at right tackle? We've obviously seen McKay, we all know his talents.
Right.
But just in terms of the other guys.
Right now you got Pat, who's a very talented and consistent and reliable player. We picked up Josh Jones, who's working at left and right, and he's got experience, and he's doing a very nice job. And then we took Roger Rosegarden, and he is really he's working at his craft every day. He's a diligent worker. One thing about Roger, he's going to play hard, he plays tough, and he competes. And those are three good qualities that a young man has. So the rest of it will come with time and experience and coaching, hopefully.
Joe, is there a plan, I guess, in the near future to move Fa'alele or to try Fa'alele at right tackle, or are you guys kind of full steam ahead?
Well, I'm going to try to let this play out a little bit. I want to just see. It just takes time when you move guys to different positions. And I'm an advocate of cross training and playing multiple positions because I know what's in store for us when the season starts. But this time of the year, I'd like to see if we can settle in, see if everyone can get the fundamentals and technique down in the assignments, and then we'll go from there.
What changes when the pads come on?
Just the physicality. Both sides of the ball can actually hit people. Work on, your technique when everyone's actually going 100%. So it was a good first day. Guys were out there competing and working against each other, and got to keep improving from there.
Tyler, there's a lot of attention on the offensive line for obvious reasons. The 3 starting spots that need to be filled. What's kind of the vibe in the room? Knowing that the expectations are high for you guys to try to replace those guys.
Yeah, kind of next man in mentality. Whoever started 5 days, we expect to play at a high level with each other. And that started in OTAs, that started in fall camp, and building chemistry with each other. Growing that room. I'm excited the direction we're heading, but we still got a lot to improve upon.
D-line has been coming and guarding you guys for a while. Now that you have the pads on, do you feel like that changed strength-wise, the playing field at all?
Yeah, we got a talented D-line group, so they certainly give us challenges, make us work. Big, strong, athletic, and for day one, I think we're making each other better. So I like the group that we have on both sides. I think a lot of improvements going to happen.
Year 3 for you, how much more responsibility is kind of given to you in terms of obviously calls, protections, other guys, leadership, all of that. So how much do you sort of seek that out of the other side?
Yeah, I'm still going to be the same guy. The responsibilities aren't really going to change. I'm still got to be the center, make the calls, make the protections, and just, lead the guys out there, because, everyone has a goal of winning, and that's our job, doing everything in our power, throughout the week, throughout practice, is putting ourselves in the best situation to win. I just try to do that.
You try to be more vocal and sort of, maybe first year.
Yeah, I just try to be myself. I don't think there's much difference for me to year 1 to year 3. Just try to be myself out there. Try to win games.
Related to that, you had Kevin Zeitler last year. What do you miss most about having him around? Other than, I'm sure he's a great guy, but in terms of the play on the field.
Yeah, Zeit was awesome to play for for 2 years. I think he's gonna kill it with Detroit, but it's next man in mentality, like I just said earlier. It's where he kind of set that bar. He set the standard of how that position is supposed to be played, and you got to match that or try to exceed it for the next guy coming in.
Tyler, with all the changes on offensive line, is there anything that stood out to you about the group that you have now?
Say that one more time.
Is there anything that stood out to you about the group that you have now with all the changes that have occurred on offensive line?
Gotcha. Yeah, I think, I love the group. I think it's a group that wants to get better, wants to work hard. 4 or 5 days in, we're improving each and every day with each other. That's the uniqueness about the position is, the chemistry that you need to have, you need to build, and it doesn't take 1 or 2 days, it takes time. So just continue to build that in the room, feel each other out, and I think, we're moving in the right direction.
Is it business as usual without Jamal here? Is it a little weird to go from training camp without being on the field?
Yeah, it is what it is. You never know throughout the course of the season whatever's going to happen. So you always got to, it's always get work with other people. But we'll be excited when Lamar's back. That's for sure.
Tyler, I know you're not a big social media guy, but how much do you?
You sure?
Maybe you are. TikTok? Maybe you're just the one that looks at everybody else's stuff. How much do you pay attention? Do you even notice all the chatter about the Ravens' offensive line? Pundits saying, "Hey, that's the biggest question mark on this team." Do you see that stuff? Does that register?
When I get on my burner accounts, sometimes. No, I don't see it. It's obviously, the questions are warranted. We lose 3 guys, and we got to do, we got to replace 3 guys, and it's our job, continue to get better and to improve. And I like the room that we have. Certainly we're going to work our tail off to get to where we want to be.
Harbaugh said that in an ideal world, he'd like to have a good idea of who's going to be starting maybe going into the first preseason game. He said that would be kind of the best case scenario. In your mind, you talked about needing to build the chemistry. How long does that take? Is it sort of the longer the better, or what's?
However long Coach Harbaugh and Coach D says it takes. Guys are working, guys are trying to improve. So, when that's all said and done, And I think the one thing about that too is, it's never solidified. We got to play at a high level consistently from week 1, week 2, week 3. So, and I think we got a lot of guys that can play a lot of high level football. So that's the exciting part.
Hey, Joe, what's it like being next to Daniel Falele? You don't have guards that big, so what is it like playing next to him? Do you have to do anything different? How do you approach that?
Yeah, it's certainly fun to have someone that large next to you. Daniel's continuing to get better and better. Obviously, he hasn't played that position much, but he's a natural for his size, how well he moves. And just now is getting familiar with that position, and then working with each other on certain combo blocks, how we see things and stuff like that.
The coaches have talked about giving Lamar some more power, some more autonomy. I guess what can you guys do to build that chemistry, especially if he's not out here? Are there things off the field that you guys can do to work on how you make those decisions?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff too happens in the meeting room. So, anytime a team can empower the quarterback to have more responsibilities and take more control, I think the better the team is going to be. So, giving the quarterbacks, whoever that is, the role, especially the more of that role to take control. And have that responsibility, I think, is big, and I think it takes a step in the right direction to where we want to go as a unit.